Okay, thank you everyone for joining us. We are going to record this session so that we can post it on our website so that those that could not join us can still observe this TA webinar. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. Okay, so today we are here meeting to discuss the 2022-23 99H Robotics Competition Grant. Today is October 3rd, and we will be meeting until 3. If we have to go over a little bit, I will stay on the line, but if any of you have to jump off, feel free to do so. Again, this will be recorded and it will be posted on our techplan.org website. So today, our agenda, we're going to introduce ourselves, which will just be very quick, probably not even 5 minutes. We'll go over resources, grant requirements and structure, any programming specifics, and then we'll go over the application process. So I'll walk you through Nexus and show you how to fill out the application online. And then at the end, we'll have all of our program providers go ahead and introduce themselves and go over their programs, briefly about 2 to 3 minutes a piece for them. And then I will give you an overview of their contact information, and our slide will be posted on the website as well, in case you want to have any links or any access to the program provider's specific information if you'd like to contact them. So for resources, again, this PowerPoint will be posted on our website. So this right here is a link to our techplan.org site, which will have our RFP, which is a request for a proposal, which are instructions that us as EdTech OSEC come up with together within our office. So you can review those. Those have the max spending limits for the coaching stipends and the support awards. So you'll find all of that information in the RFP. By the end of the day, I will have the Nexus step-by-step document posted. So that's the instructions that will show you how to go through the Nexus application process step-by-step. So that will be posted on our website, as well as this technical assistance webinar. This will probably not be posted until Wednesday because we do have to upload it and go through a few steps before it's ready to be posted to the public. So again, that probably will not be posted until Wednesday, but you will have the step-by-step instructions on the website. Again, this webinar will be posted. The instructions will be posted to our website. So you'll see that you have links to First in Michigan, the REC, Square One, and our new program provider, which is MATE. So our grant purpose is to support students in pre-K through 12th grade through participation in the robotics competition, which includes FIRST, REC, Square One, and MATE. And we also have openings for new program providers to come in, which there's an application process, which I'll share on our techplan.org website over the next month. So look forward to seeing that. So we do have our eligible applicants, which are local education agencies, public school academies, ISDs, and registered non-public schools. And as far as registered, you do need to be registered with the state of Michigan within Sigma, so that we are able to pay you via check or e-funds. But again, if you are a non-public school, you do need to be registered with the state of Michigan. If you have any questions on that, feel free to reach out to me and I can assist you with getting registered. So here are a few grant requirements defined in statute. Do we have any questions as of yet, or no questions yet? Okay. To be eligible for a grant, a district must have an established partnership with the robotics competition with at least one sponsor, which is a business entity, a higher education institution, individual, or technical school. So you do have to have a sponsor. you must submit a budget, which as most of you know from last year, it's changed a little bit. We used to have a spreadsheet where you would submit a budget, but as of last year and going forward, we submit our budget within Nexus, and we'll go over that in a few minutes here. And then you also must agree to pay at least 25% of the cost of the robotics competition program. And that includes the coaching, 25% for the coaching stipend, as well as 25% for the support award. So 25% for both. So you must agree to both of those. And then also for grant requirements, each district and team must be registered for the current season with a robotics competition program provider. Again, that's First Robotics, REC, MATE, there's a few different ones, but you must be registered. And they do go through and look at the registered teams, and they verify whether or not you are registered. So we do work with them to do that. You must have a current program team number registered, again, with your program provider for the current season. You must participate in a minimum of 1 robotics competition, and that does depend on each program provider. So if you have any questions regarding that, check with your program provider. You must also be willing to offer elective credits for high school, as well as any digital badging. That's not something that the state of Michigan is in charge of. Each program provider deals with that separately, so that if each district is interested in it, please check with your program provider and they'll be able to give you more information on that. Are there any questions as we're going forward? Are we all set? Okay. Feel free to throw anything in the chat or raise your hand if you have any questions. So our grant funding thankfully changed the same, or did not change, it stayed the same. So we have roughly 4.7 million for public schools and 600,000 for non-public schools. And those, that funding is separate. So it does not come out of the same bucket. So 4.7 stays in one bucket for public schools and 600,000 for the non-public schools. I think we have a question, one moment.
I'm gonna unmute Phil.
Yeah, Phil.
On the RFP, didn't it say 5.2 million Senate raised that amount, or did it go back down to 4.7?
The total amount, if you look at the RFP, is the two amounts combined, but when you break them down, it's
I guess I was reading the legislative language, which was 5.2 plus 6, but I may have been reading that wrong.
Okay, let me.
You are accurate, Phil.
Oh, I apologize about that. So it was 5.2, Drew, you said, for public schools?
Yeah, it's basically $500,000 more than the number you have on the screen.
Okay, I apologize that. I apologize for that. I will update that before I post it on the website. So it's 5.2 million for public schools, and then 600,000 for non-public schools stayed the same. Thank you for clarifying that. Okay, so this year legislation has changed a little bit. In the past, we looked at districts applying as far as their free and reduced school lunch and economically challenged districts. But this year we're looking at it as all eligible districts will be prorated based on the qualified amount. So that has changed a little bit. And then also upon review, we did notice that legislation, although it has not changed, that legislation reads 1 coaching stipend per building. And then so if we look down here, I took a snippet out of legislation where it's 5A, which shows that grants to district, non-public schools or ISDs to pay for stipends shall not exceed $1,500 per building for coaching. So when we look at that, we know that high school coaches are paid $1,500 for their coaching stipends. And so even if you have 3 high school teams that are at various different with various different program providers, they can only receive a max of $1,500. But then if we look at the elementary school where the max is only $500 per program, they can receive up to 3 coaching stipends because that would be the $1,500. So that is a little bit different compared to past years. And that's something that we realized after we did some more digging into the legislation. Does anybody have any questions on that? Because I know that is a big change. No? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. So if I have a K-8 school that has a middle school first program and an upper elementary first program, I believe that was 15, at least last year it was 1,500 for the middle school and 1,000 for the elementary. And then 500 for the lower elementary. Is that correct?
Is it all within the same building? So when you apply for funds within Nexus, and we can also look at that here in a minute, is it all within the same building or do you have separate buildings?
So if it's a K-8 school, they're all in the same building.
Okay, so it would just be one. So the most that the coaching stipend could be is $1,500, even though they're different levels. It's something that we found when we were looking deeper into the legislation. So it is per building, even if it is separated by different elementary, upper elementary, and middle school.
Okay, so will you be capping those stipends at the different levels?
It's per building. And so if there are districts out there that have an elementary, upper elementary, and middle school, and they're all separate buildings, then that's a little different. Legislation just tells us that it's per building. So if you do have, say, 9 grades within one building, the most that they can get is $1,500.
All right, thank you.
Ashley, I have a question. It's Gail.
Yes.
In the same vein, if you have, let's say, a building that's K through 6, and you have 2 different programs, and the highest stipend in the building would be, let's say, $500 or $1,000, does the building still get $1,500, or is it based on the highest level, and that's what you're going to use for the building?
My understanding of the legislation is that it would be $1,500. So say if we have 3 in an elementary school, if we have 3 teams and each coach, if they're separate coaches, gets $500 per team, then you would be able to get $500 for each of the 3 teams, which is a max of $1,500.
So what if you had 1 in a building and it was only 1,000? Would they still get 1,500 in the building, or would
No,
they get?
they would get 1,000 because the language is not to exceed. So we're going with the max per team added on. So if you have multiple teams, those be added together. So it either be the highest amount available or 1,500, whichever one meets the criteria.
That's what I thought. Okay, thanks.
Any other questions on the coaching stipend? Okay. So again, I just want to reiterate that with the grant structure, that with the coaching stipend, it is 1 coaching stipend per building. I know that's new, and so I just again want to reiterate that. Support awards, those that covers anything that gets the students to the end game. So that covers event registration, materials, travel costs, food, bus rides, hotel, anything like that that supports the student in moving forward. Because I know over the past year, there were a lot of questions about that. Does anyone have questions about anything regarding support award? I also do want to let you know that for coaching stipends, if you apply for a coaching stipend, you do need to make sure, if you're in the finance office, that you are awarding your coaches that stipend. The coaching stipend should not be rolled over into the support award or general fund or anything like that. If you're requesting a coaching stipend, it should be going to the coach. If not, that money does need to be returned to the Michigan Department of Education. Does anyone have questions on the coaching stipend or anything that's involved with that?
Is this the only place you're going to talk about coaching stipends? Because if you do, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so some schools, with regard to the 25% that they have to contribute on top of the 1,500 or whatever their maximum is, their match at 25% gets added onto the top of that. But my question is, if they're paying paychecks or someone else who's handling a third-party payer who's going to actually pay the coach themselves, are they allowed to use that as their 25% match and deduct it from the coach's stipend? Because that seemed a little strange to me.
Drew, do you have an answer on that?
Can you say that one more time? I think I
it was
lost you
very
about halfway
confusing.
through.
Yeah, me too. Okay. So let's say that you owe $1,800 and $7,500 to a coach. $1,500 is in the legislation, 25% match of $375. So total $1,875. That's what the coach has to get paid, and then they can either pay him the $1,875, or they can pay them the $1,500 and pay the $375 by not charging them for some of the deductions that they normally would, or for their insurance or whatever, right? So they can either add it to the top, or they can net it out from what they normally pay from their withholding and with everything else.
I would say yes, as long as the teacher's getting their stipend.
Yeah, the 1875 one way or another.
Yep.
But my question is, if they're using a third party to do that, can they take what they pay the third party, say it's $300 is a fee that they would pay a third party that's handling their paychecks to people or whatever. Can they deduct that from what they owe the coach?
I would think no, but I will confirm with our accounting and audit people and see what they have to say on that matter.
Okay, thank you, because that was a situation and they thought that the MDE told them, yes, you can take it out of the pay. So I just wanted to clarify that.
I will re-verify that. That's an excellent question, and I don't want to give the wrong answer. So I will verify with our accounting and auditing people and let you know.
Thank you so much.
I'll make sure that all the program providers are included on that email so that we all know going forward. Thank you, Drew.
So I have another request on language, because this is very confusing for some of our district partners, where it says one coaching stipend per a building. Can we change that to what the language says, like in up to 1,500 or something? Because we will have buildings where there's more than one coach stipend paid, but the sum will be less than 1,500. Does that make sense?
Yes, we can change that language on this slide.
Because I'm already getting questions about can only one person in the building receive a stipend?
Okay, up to a max. Yes, I can include that information. I'll update that before I post it on the website this afternoon. Thank you. Any other questions before we move on? Okay. And then also advancement awards. If we were to have any money, which we leftover funds, we will give out advancement awards, and your program providers will send us that information come April/May, so that we know if which teams did advance. But just so you know, the past few years we have not had any advancement awards. But if that is available, we will make sure that the program providers send out any information come, again, April or May.
May I interrupt and ask one more question?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Sorry. When you say that the 1,500 is meant for the coach and it's solely for the coach, and I think that's great language. The same is true for the support award, correct?
Correct. The support award should only be used to support the teams. So the support award should not go towards the coach. That's what the coaching stipend is for. Is that what you're trying to clarify?
No, but again, that the funds that are meant for the team are meant solely for the team and shouldn't be taken into the general fund.
Correct. No, okay, so if you have any funds left over at the end of the season, that should either be rolled over for the next fiscal year or that needs to be returned to the Michigan Department of Education. So you should not be rolling over any funds designated for 99H into the general fund, whether that be a coaching stipend or that be a support award. Again, to clarify, that should not be rolled over into the general fund. It either needs to be pulled over into the next fiscal year for 99H or returned.
And Ashley, this is Brandy. If we have, if there's a team who has issues where either their funds were not distributed to their team and they were pulled into their school's general fund, or they have issues like that, who should they contact at the Michigan Department of Education to resolve those issues?
So just to clarify, you're asking if they were not awarded?
Correct. If the district took the funds, but that was not awarded to the teams.
I have had that happen this year. Drew, can you
They
answer that
should
question?
contact Ashley and we'll get
Okay.
that resolved.
Okay. Yeah, so
Thank you.
go ahead and if there's any issues, contact me and I'll bring it up to management. That's what happened just in the past couple of weeks. We had an issue come up.
Okay,
Yes, just contact me and then we can figure it out from there.
awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Ashley, for those two items about, could you please include that on the slides? About that both the stipend and the grant amount is for the sole purpose of the coaches and the teams?
Yeah, yep, I can update that and then I'll talk to upper management about maybe including that on the RFP, just getting a little more detailed. So I'll discuss it, but at the least it will be included in the slides.
All right, thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. And again, if any coaches out there, if you're having any issues with getting your stipends or figuring out support award amounts, just reach out to me and I'd be more than happy to help you. Okay. So when you are applying for a coaching stipend, you, again, I just want to reiterate, it's up to $1,500 per building. The district is required to match the 25%. So for example, if a high school coach is awarded $1,500 in a stipend, $375 is the match, which I know most districts put towards FICA. So again, the 25% match is required for coaching stipends as well as support awards. It's not advancing. Again, to reiterate, support awards can be used to pay for registration, events, materials, travel costs, food, hotels, anything other, and any other expenses that are associated with the robotics team, which also includes promotional items. Say if you want to make t-shirts for your kiddos or anything like that, those can all be used with your support award. All of the amounts are listed on the RFP, which is included in this link here, which again will be on our techplan.org website. And at the end, I will throw the link into the chat so that everybody has it. So you can find all the materials you need at the end of the day. We just spoke about advancement awards. Again, those are contingent upon funding. So that's if we have any additional money at the end of the fiscal year. Again, we've given that out everything out over the past couple of years, so there hasn't been anything to give. But if we do have advancement awards, we will have the program providers send that information out to you, and they will send us the information in validating that your team did move on. So a little bit has changed this year. We do have some dates in legislation that have helped us along to go sooner as far as the application process goes. So our application opened on October 1st, so it is open as of now, and it will close October 31st at 4:30 p.m. And then the Michigan Department of Education does have 60 days to process the applications, send up the grant award packet, and then post the final award amounts on our website, which again is that techplan.org website. All awards will be posted there no later than January 1st of 2023. And then awards will go out to public and non-public schools within February. So for public schools, that's going to be in your February 2023 SAMS adjustment. And then for non-public schools, that's going to be in your February 2023 Sigma payment. Any questions on that? Okay, so let's go over some key dates here. We put up the RFP, which is the request for a proposal that comes out of the Office of Systems and Evaluation and Technology. That was posted on our website September 22nd. Our application went live October 1st. Today is our TA webinar. The 31st at 4:30 is when all applications are due, and those are held for 6 weeks while the Department of Education reviews the applications. And so we have 60 days to confirm and get all of the packets signed. And then by January 1st at the latest, all grant awards will be announced on our website. And then I'll also send out a statement to the program providers to send out to all of their contacts so that you know that it is posted on the website. And then by the end of February, all awards will be given out either via SAMS for public schools or Sigma for non-public schools. And for public schools, we did make a change this year. So instead of getting monthly payouts, your full award will be given out in February. So you won't have to wait for monthly payments on that. So we did make a little change there. Any questions on the key dates? Do we have a question, Joe? What is it?
Got a question in the chat. I want to know if this year's grant awards will be posted.
Yes, yep. This year's grant awards will be posted on our techplan.org website, which will be in the slideshow here. But I'll also make sure to send out just a review of what we talked about today to the program providers, and hopefully they're willing to send out an email to everybody so that they know that we have this put up on the website as far as the RFP, the step-by-step instructions, the recording, and the awards, which will be posted again no later than January 1st.
Ashley, I have a request from some of our teams that when you actually post the list to everyone, if you could separate, they would find it very helpful if you could separate out the team support from the stipend so they know how much to pay their coaches.
Yes, yep, I know, Gail, that we did talk about that. So that I do plan on doing that, separating it out so that districts know the difference between the support award and the stipends for each team.
Great, thank you.
That's a great suggestion. Thank you.
Actually, we have another question in the chat. Philip wanted to know, to confirm, you said that public and non-public will be paid out of the SAMS Sigma in one lump sum?
And so public schools do get paid out of SAMS. And in the past, it's always been separated monthly, and Drew can probably explain it a little more. So generally your funds will come out in February and then like a big lump sum, and then March, April, May, June, July, and then August and September. But we're going to do one lump sum for public schools like we have done with non-public schools in the past. So instead of separating it out in monthly lump sums like we're used to in SAMS, it'll just be one lump sum in February. So it'll be your full award. Does that answer your question, Philip?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Okay. So the application process in Nexus, We do know that it's only one application per district. So if you go ahead and you submit your application and you, before the deadline, you need to make any changes, please let myself know. You cannot just let the program providers know, you have to let me know so that I can return your application to you so that you can edit it and make any changes, because you won't be able to submit multiple applications. It will only allow you to start and submit one. The application does allow for multiple team submissions, which you'll see as we go through the application process. Each team must have a team number and a sponsor page, a district-wide 99-inch robotics budget, which we'll go over because that's done in Nexus. I really do want to reiterate the fact that you must include a stipend and support award for each team, even though you click yes that you're applying for a stipend, which we'll go over when we're in Nexus, you still have to submit a line item for a stipend or your district will not be awarded. Any questions on that? Because I know that that did happen quite a bit last year. Okay. All right, so let me go ahead. I'm gonna stop sharing for a second. Let me see if I'm. Okay, so this is the Nexus dashboard. And when you log on, you're going to come over here. If you have not already started an application, you're going to come over here to My Opportunities, and you're going to look for the different opportunities that you have, and you should see 99H Robotics. Sorry, one second here. All right, can everyone see my screen? All right, let me try again. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to start with a non-pub school here so that we can see the extra step that's included with being a non-pub. So generally when you log in, you will not have multiple districts to choose from unless you are maybe an ISD or you do deal with multiple districts. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the one that I'm applying for and click proceed. And then this is the beginning of our application process. And so we're going to go through each page. So here we can see that we're in the start of the application progress, and we see application submitted, review in progress. There's all of these different options as we move along. So we're going to go on to the cover page. And then you will review the information. And then we do have to at least put in a main contact person. A secondary contact person is not required, but you can include them if you would like. And you do have to remember that after each page, you do need to click save, because if you don't click save, there will be an error on the page and you will not be able to submit. So I'm going to go ahead and click save here. And that now we can see that after we click save, it pulled in the contact information as far as address, city, and telephone number. And we can see right here that there's a check mark, and that means that it has saved successfully. So we're going to move on to assurances and certifications, which you will see in the actual application once you start it. This is just our test application. So you can see if we move on without clicking save here. Normally there would be an exclamation point, but you will not be able to save it, or I'm sorry, you will not be able to submit unless you click save. And again, with important information, we're just going to click save so we can have that check mark there. And then before we can proceed, the Nexus is asking us if we reviewed all of the information and if we would like to continue. So we do want to click apply now. and save. If you click do not apply, you will not be able to continue the application. And then right here, again, this is for non-pubs only. If you are a public school, you will not see this page, so please disregard. It's going to pull in your Sigma vendor or / customer code, and then you need to pull in your address ID, which is usually 001, 002. You can get that from your finance office, and that shows up right in Sigma. And that just verifies whether you are an EFT or if you get a physical check. So
Ashley,
yes,
I have a
go ahead.
question. Last year, there was so much, actually every year, where people are trying to find the number to put in there. Where do they go to find it? To find their Sigma? Like they just go to Sigma, but what if, I don't remember but what the issue was, but last year it seemed like every private non-public school was trying to find a number to put in there.
I think that was more with there was a DUNS issue last year because the DUNS numbers were not put in, but I have sent them the DUNS numbers over to finance to upload, because I think it was this code right here where we were having to send every non-public to finance to upload it. But as far as their address ID code, that should be just right in Sigma with all of their information. And so if they're having trouble finding it, please just have them reach out to me and I can help them.
Is that something that could be shared with the program providers, or is that PII?
I don't think that I can, Drew, I don't think I can give them the address ID codes, because I think I would have to go into each district and look them up. Gail, let me look into that and I'll get back to you, okay?
Okay, only
right.
because people were frantic.
Yeah, no, I remember that last year. So let me figure that out and I'll get back to you and all the other program providers.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we hit save after putting in our address ID. So now this is our team information page. And so this is where we add in each team. And we need to make sure that we add each and every team into this, and not just, because I know this happened last year, that they would just add one team with the team number and team name, and then add on all of the coaching stipends and the support awards under the same team. But we need to make sure that we add in every registered team that you have registered with a program provider. So for this first team, I am going to choose First Robotics Rookie. For Autobots, team number. And again, each team number, it should be individual. You should not have teams with the same team number. If you're having that issue, please reach out to your program provider. They'll be able to assist you with getting the correct team number. I'm going to choose one building. And what's also different this year is we do not require a student roster. So there's no need to upload anything. We don't need any information about the students, but if you could just let us know how many students you have on the team. If you're not sure yet, because of course school is just starting, or you're not really getting it, you're not into the robotics yet, just kind of make your best guess about how many individuals you're going to have on a team, and you can always update that later. So then we're going to put in our coach information. And then this is where we go back to, although you are stating here that you are applying for a coaching stipend, that does not mean that we automatically include a line item for the coaching stipend. And we'll go through that when we get into add budget item. So we're going to click here, yes, because we do want to apply for a coaching stipend. But again, we do want to add that as a budget item. So we'll scroll down. And you're going to click these that you do approve to contribute 25% of the total to the robotics competition, which can be in kind, and that is for the support award as well as the coaching stipend. And that if the program or if the team advances, you're also going to contribute 25% of whatever the advancement award is. Right here, it does ask if your school is going to offer elective credits or digital badges. This is not a requirement. We're just asking. So if you click no, that does not mean that you will not be funded this fiscal year. We're just asking for our own reporting purposes. So you can click yes, no, or maybe. And then if yes or maybe, which elective or digital badges, I'm just going to click both for this. Again, that does not, if you click no or maybe, that does not stop you from being qualified for funding. And then sponsor information, you do have to have a sponsor. Anybody have any questions while I fill this out here? No? Okay. And then
I actually had a quick question,
go ahead.
but it goes back on a topic we already finished. Going back to the one stipend per building. If teams are out of an ISD, but they're in separate locations, so let's say we have one in Oakland County in their southeast office, or one in the south and one in the southwest office. When you go into the building code, they're all coming up under Oakland Schools ISD or whatever it is. But they really are in separate buildings. How could they get stipends for each of the buildings since they are separate, even though they're under the ISD?
Well, if they're, even though they're under the ISD, if you looked when we just added the team information right here, that we can see the different buildings that are within that ISD. So it depends on how they're applying. And maybe Drew could answer that better. I will check with Drew on that one, and I'll get back to all of you so that you can forward that on. But generally, when the ISD is applying, you still pick out your building.
Yeah, but these don't have a separate building because they're ISD classes.
Oh, okay. Okay, let me check with Drew on that, okay?
But they are actually in separate buildings all over the county. So technically they should get it, but because of the way they don't actually have a building code assigned to them separately. That's what I'm
Okay. Okay, let me check with Drew and I will update you both by the end, or I'm sorry, you all by the end of the day.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I hit save. And so we added a team. And it's just in the most awkward spot here. And so I hit save and I want to add another team because I have multiple teams at this same district. So I'm going to go ahead and click add, but just know you do have to click save before you click add. If you click add, it's just going to clear out everything that you already added and you'll have to put it back in. So for the sake of this, I'm going to do first robotics veteran. Fill this out again real quick. Okay, and then hit save again, and that will add our second team in here. Again, if anyone needs to hop off, I know we're running a little bit over, but feel free to go ahead. This will be recorded and pasted on the website. We're going to go to budget summary and then go ahead and put in our business office representative.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Two actually. For the cover page, when you have a drop down, I have a drop down of different contacts within my organization. When I put in my information, the address and the phone number and all of that is for my previous district. I have contacted MDE. I have updated my login page. No one can seem to figure out where this information is being pulled from and why it's still incorrect, even though I've corrected it in several different places.
Okay, do you mind sending me an email and I'll see if I can figure it out for you?
Okay. And then the second question, I don't see the budget section in my application.
What level are you?
I'm a level 2 writer, grant writer.
Level 2, and you might not see that, and we'll get to that in a minute. I'm pretty sure you need to be a level 4 to be able to have access, but your level 5 needs to give everybody access to an application once they initiate it by going to add edit people here on the left-hand side.
So I can see everything else, just not the budget section. I was able to see it last time at a level 2.
Okay, and your level 5 might have to go in and add you to the actual application to be able to edit it. So they would just go to add edit people and then click on this add button right here. And then they should be able to add user from organization and put your last name in, but it might be an issue because your district isn't switched over yet. So go ahead and send me an email and we'll work through that.
Okay.
See what we can figure out. Yeah, no problem.
And is your email somewhere in the?
Yeah, Joe, do you mind popping my email in the chat? Thank you. Joe's gonna throw my email in there. Thank you, no problem. Okay, so if we're back at budget summary. We have all our information in here. You are going to get an error. So you see this exclamation point right here because it's saying the budget must not be 0, but it's saying that because we have not added a budget item in yet. So we're going to skip over here and go to add budget item. And now we can start putting in our budget line items. So we're going to go ahead and look at our first team right here. And then if we hit save, it will pull in the robotic program type. We'll have these errors, of course, but we can see that this is for First Robotics Rookie. And if we looked at our RFP, we know that the maximum they receive is 9,000. So we're going to scroll down here, and this is a high school. So we'll put in our function codes, and we're going to put in support award. For time's sakes, I'm just going to go ahead and put in support award here, but this is where you would spell out what you're going to use all of your funds for. And I'm going to put in 9,000 here. And click save. So I've got my support award done for one team. And then I'm going to go ahead. You can see that I have it in here, 9,000. That's the maximum. And I'm going to click add, because I need to also put in the stipend for that team, the coaching stipend. So again, I'm going to click high school, use of funds, stipend, coaching stipend. And then for coaching stipend, you can put it under salaries and benefits or under purchase services. It just depends on which kind of stipend it is. And then to circle back a little bit for support awards, it's either going to be purchase services, supplies and materials, or other. And so it won't allow you to mix it up. It'll throw an error at you. So for salaries, I'm going to put in 1,500 because that is the max for a high school. And then you have to put in FTE, so full-time employee or hours. So I'm going to put 1 full-time employee, and then I'm going to hit save. Okay. And then I'm going to hit add again because I still need to include my other teams. So we're done with team 1111. So we're going to move on to team 2222. We are going to go back to high school. Use of funds is support award because we haven't done anything for this team as of yet. Support award. We know that the maximum per the RFP for this one is $6,000. And then we're going to hit save. And then we also have to remember to add on the coaching stipend for this coach. And then again, we want to assume that these two teams are at separate buildings, but we'll also look at that. As far as MDE, we will look at that. Okay, and hit save. So now that we have everything added, we're going to go look at our budget summary. So as far as the summary goes, it just shows us very high level thing, details as far as salaries. We asked for a total of 3,000 in coaching stipends and 15,000 in supplies and materials. Then if we go and look at budget detail, we can see here that the support award, coaching stipend, support award, coaching stipend. And so if you click on one of these, it'll take you to the exact entry. And then you can also, a new feature this year is we can do some sorting. So you can sort by team number, which helps to make it easier to see what you've actually applied for. So let's go ahead and just take a look at team 1111. And we can see here that we have a support award and a coaching stipend for this team. Does anybody have any questions on this before we move on?
I do.
Go ahead.
So my question is, if somebody is not an employee but is coaching and they are under a contract for outside services, would they then use the purchase services? Would contract employees use that rather than salaries, or would it go in salaries still?
It depends on the district. Here at MDE, we don't look at what field you put that in. But for what I've seen, from what I've seen in the past, if it's contracted out, districts have used purchase services. If it's an actual employee, they've done salaries and benefits. And so another thing that we have gone away with is that we're not doing the local share option anymore. So when you're applying, you only want to apply for the funds that you're asking MDE for. Please do not include your district's budget within Nexus, because again, we're not including local share. So we don't need to see that. We're only asking to see what you're asking the MDE for. Any questions on that?
Yes, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Earlier, you said, if I understood you correctly, and I may not have, that you must put in a stipend for each coach for each team, even if you're going to exceed the limit of $1,500 per building. Is that correct?
No, so I was only doing this as an example to show you that you need to make sure that if you're applying for a coaching stipend, you need to include the add budget item for each one of those. So if we were doing this and you had two coaches for first robotics at the high school, you would not apply for both of them. If you do, it's not going to be an issue. We would still look at it here. So
again, to be clear, if I had 3 coaches in one building, each of them theoretically could get $1,500, recognizing there's a limit. One way to do this would be to have $1,500 assigned to one team and 0 to the other 2. Is that correct?
Yeah, correct. And so, and then looking at that, there's no way that the MDE can tell you how to distribute those funds amongst the coaches. So
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand that, but I'm concerned about the form. Does the form have, if I have 3 coaches, do I have to give them, does the form expect $500 each or $1,500 and 0? I guess that would be the 2 extremes.
We looked at it both ways last year, even when we thought the coaching stipends were different. So if, say, there was 3 high school coaches and a district put in $500 for each, we still gave each coach $500. So it can go both ways. You can either split it between the coaches, or you can put it all under one. Just know that the maximum you're going to receive is $1,500.
Oh, I understand the maximum.
Yeah.
Again, I'm concerned about the form.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and no problem. And I just want to let you all know too, if when you're filling out the form before you submit it, or even after you submit it, feel free to reach out to me. I can't go in and look at every single form, you know, before the deadline, but if I have a district reach out to me and if they ask me to walk through it with them, I'm more than happy to do that. I'd rather do that than, you know, come to the end where everything's due and we have no chance to make any changes. So if any of you need assistance or just want me to look at your application, I'd be more than happy to do that.
One more clarifying on the coaching stipend. If we, just for consistency's sake, so that we can tell those that are filling it out to do it as easily as possible, if we just, if there were, say, 3 VRC teams at a high school, can we just say, put $1,500 for all 3 of them? So it'd be $4,500 in total coaching stipends at that building, knowing that the MDE is then just going to knock it back down to $1,500.
That's
Just so
fine.
that we can be consistent across the board with every, so that when we go back and review, did we get all our ducks in a row? We didn't miss anybody.
Yeah, that's fine. And that's what we looked at last year as well, because we did have a few elementary schools that submitted for the coaching stipend and then just split it up so that it was equal, because it is one, last year it was one coaching stipend per program per building. So now it's just per building. So yes, you're more than welcome to split it up like that. We'll still review the data. Does that answer your question?
I feel good about what I'm going to be telling some of the schools here to do.
Okay, yeah, Philip, that's you, right? Philip?
Yeah, yes, it is.
Okay,
Yes, it
yeah,
is.
Philip, if you have any questions, just feel free to give me a call and we can talk through it as
Absolutely.
well. Okay, thank
Thank you.
you. Yeah. Okay, so now that we have all of our budget items in here, we're going to scroll down. We don't need to look at flagged budget items. State of Michigan attachments, that would be us giving you any attachments, but that's not anything that we've done in the past, nor do I plan to do. If you are a level 5 and you need to add a level 4, you can come in here to add edit people or anyone below that so that you can initiate the application. Your level 4 or below can fill out any necessary documentation and then let you know, and then you would submit it. So again, you would come into add edit people, add user, and then you would just type in their name and you should be able to find them as far as their level 4, 3, 2, and 1, and add them, and it'll send them an email letting them know, and they will also see that in their main home screen. And there's a status history button here. We can see that we haven't done anything other than initiated the application at 2:54 today. Again, this is kind of a timeline that shows you where you are. The last thing we want to do is go to, you can choose to submit your application or you can cancel it. We are going to submit application. You can choose to put in a message if you'd like. The submit button is right here. I'm not really sure why it's not showing up there. Might be an issue just because we're in test with this EUI number. Yeah, so this is the same issue, Gail, that we were talking about earlier, where it didn't have that EUI number and the EEM. So I know that finances in Nexus, they're in the back end, they're updating those numbers right now. So it should be fine to go through, but it doesn't look like it made it in the upload to the test application. So once you submit, it will go into review in progress, and then we'll review it by the 1st, and then you'll be able to come into sorry, one second here. The the option's not showing, maybe because it's not submitted, but you'll be able to see your approval status and it'll show you the amount that you were awarded. Does anybody have any questions?
I do again.
Okay. No problem.
Once they submit, do they get a confirmation via email that says they have submitted, or can they only see it in their status?
Let me check on that. I know that I've had 2 districts submit an application over the weekend and I received an email. I know last year that the emails were kind of on and off. So let me double check with the Nexus team to see if they're working now. Because I know last year they were not.
Last year they were spotty, like some
Yeah,
would get it. And so then I thought everyone was getting it, but then so many didn't. So I was so confused.
Yeah, it was very spotty last year. So let me check with Monica on that and I'll let all of the program providers know.
Ashley, I have a question. This is
Yes.
Tammy. How would a team, and I know this is going to be a question we get a lot, how will they know if they were included on their district's application?
Again, I think it goes back to emails. So let me double check on all of that. From what I understand, when you're included on an application, it should email you to let you know that you have a new application ready for you to edit. But I think it does go back to the emails. So let me double check and see where all those come into play and what's actually working.
Is there a way for the district, the level 5 who has submitted, to print out a copy of everything that was submitted, and the coach could request that and get a copy of the application to make sure they're on there?
Yeah, so we can. One second, let me share my screen again. So you can print out the entire application. And to do that, you would go on the left-hand side menu, you'd go to print document. Can everyone see my screen? No.
I think the screen you're sharing is different than the one you're on currently. That's what you're showing everybody else.
Yep, that's right. Okay.
I'm not seeing you move though. There you are. Yeah.
Okay. So sorry about that. More technical issues. So we would come over here and there was just a print. Okay, so we would go to print document right here and it would show everything that was saved and or submitted. So it would even show, let me see if, yeah, it's going to take a minute to load. It does take a while, but if you include everything, it's going to print out everything that's included in this application. So if a coach requested it, either a level 4, if they're granted access, or a level 5 could print it out to them and send it to them via attachment.
Would there be a way for you to create a fake application like you're doing today and then print out once it's finished, then, because you could have one that's contract services, one that's regular, one that did VAX, one that did, like, we could just do a bunch of different teams on that fake district that you would create and then send it out as a template for us to all look at.
As far as the program providers?
Yeah, because we don't have, because we're not with a school, we can't, it's really hard for us to answer questions when we can't really see it. But if we had a document that was the entire application just in a regular doc that you sent us, that would be super helpful.
Yeah, I can do that. And again, if a district's having an issue with the application process, I'm more than happy to look at it ahead of time just to avoid any issues that could happen, like it within, last year. So if they're having issues, tell them to feel free to contact me, but I will work on giving them, or giving you all just a printout of the application process.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Are there any other questions about the application process before we give the program providers about 2 minutes each to give us their spiel? Nothing? Okay. Okay, Gail, I will go ahead and let you go first.
Okay, hold on, let me
Okay,
turn on my video. Hi, everyone. I'm Gail Alpert. I run, along with Tammy Damrath, First in Michigan. And First in Michigan is just first and foremost a complete blast. It's fun. It's just amazing. We have programs starting in kindergarten. We go all the way up to grade 12. There's not a lot of overlap, except that you can always play up. You just can't play down, which is so much fun. And our progression is a true progression. So in the earlier parts, we start with Lego and we go from Duplos to Legos to a metal kit. And then finally at the high school level, we go to big life-size, 5 foot tall, 120-pound robots. And it's just, they're played in an arena that looks like a sporting event. And it's really fun. One of the great things about First is that they're mentor-based programs, meaning that we truly partner with business and they lend both money and mentors to work side by side with the kids. And in that way, these kids are getting networking that is beyond anything you can imagine. Even last year at our state competition, a lot of the companies were there to talk to the kids. Our teams range from all sizes to everywhere, from tiny to huge. And the beauty of this grant is that it's made it accessible for everybody, and we thank the MDE for that. We have resources to give to the teams to make any team successful, especially rookies. With rookies, we have great grants. Our team guides walk them through everything that they need. You can do it in the classroom. You can do it outside the classroom. As long as you go to your competitions, you are considered an MDE team. We have digital resources that are industry standard. We have so many things that we're exposing these kids to at a really young age and that they can use everywhere. And I think that, I know I'm trying to hurry so that everybody can just do a little piece, but Tammy, did you have anything to add to that you wanted to say? Oh, you're muted.
We are in every locale, rural, urban, suburban. We fit everywhere. It doesn't matter how big your school is or your community. We can make First work for you. And we're pre-K through 12th
Yes.
grade.
Oh yeah, did I say K? Sorry, pre-K. Definitely, that's our newest program. Next, we're going to be in utero.
all right, thank you. Go ahead, Brandy.
Hi, everyone. For those of you who have not met me, I am Brandy Bollinger, and I work for the REC Foundation. The REC Foundation supports the VEX programs, starting with VEX 1, 2, 3 at the preschool level, VEX Go at the early elementary, VEX IQ, and VEX Robotics competition, which are both supported by the Michigan Department of Education, and then the collegiate level with VEX U. So if you have questions about that, oh, sorry, also forgot the aerial drones competition, which is also supported by the Michigan Department of Education. So I'm located in the mid-Michigan area, and I'm available if you would like me to come to your school with information or a demonstration about our programs. We have a full curriculum that's available to all registered teams with a 36-week lesson plan that coaches and teachers can use in and out of the classroom. And yeah, that's all I got.
Thank you. What about Barb or Jason?
Sure. I'll start. My name is Barb Land. I'm the Executive Director at the Square One Education Network. We are a Michigan-based nonprofit STEM education organization. We offer 5 different innovative vehicle design programs, things from that are all mobility related, one of Michigan's leading industries. And so students are working in electric vehicles, lightweighting, autonomous, connected vehicles, underwater robotics. And then we also offer a host of teacher trainings because we want to certainly build that confidence and competence in teachers so they're comfortable and ready to deliver this kind of programming either in their classroom or as part of an after-school club. We do have teachers on our staff that are a resource. So what do you do when you don't know what to do? We have folks that are are real world. They are authentic teachers out in the field delivering these kinds of programs. And then we're super fortunate that here on our staff, we have an outstanding program director, Jason Beatty. I'll turn it over to you and let you share a little bit.
Thanks, Barb. I think Barb pretty well covered it there, but you know, we do have 5 different, very different innovative vehicle design programs that fit just about any classroom, any school, any after-school activity. And you know, as educators in Michigan, I just think that we're all certainly blessed to have this wide variety of programs. Not any one of the programs that we're talking about today fit for every kid. So it's great that we have all these options for different kids and different interests. So certainly feel free to reach out if we can answer any questions.
Well, thank you. And then I think we just have Jill left here. She's the newest and she's with MATE. So I'll have her give an overview of her program.
Thank you, Ashley. Yeah, we're the new kids on the block here, although not really, because you can see above me here, we've had our 20th World Championship just this past year. So I'm Jill Zandi. I'm the President Executive Director of MATE Inspiration for Innovation. We are a 501c3 nonprofit that grew out of an NSF grant and funded center. We started as a workforce development program for the maritime industry and really have grown into a workforce development program for our planet. We are a global underwater robotics competition. We challenge students to come together in teams and design and build ROVs, underwater robots, to solve the mission challenges that we put forward to them. We base our mission challenges on real world events and activities. We're focusing a lot these days on as you may imagine, climate change and the impacts that climate change has on our ocean planet. So we range from K through 16, if you will. We go all the way from elementary up through post-secondary, community colleges and universities, greatly focused on K through 12. We have, in terms of team development, we support you all with professional development workshops. We have ROV kits that you can purchase from us, but you're not required to use our kits in the competition. Those kits, each of them come with building guides, with instructional materials and resources that are aligned with next generation science standards, among other international technology standards. We're global. We have 46 regional programs that take place across the country and around the world, including, I'm so excited to say, our Great Lakes regional competition. It is back on the schedule. Daniel Moffett, who is the Great Lakes regional coordinator, he's driving back from a conference today, so he's not able to be here, but he is the stewardship and environmental education coordinator at Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary. So happy to have him on board, happy to be offering a regional program and competition event in Michigan this year. And I just want to point out one thing. I know applications are due shortly, and I know Ashley said you all have to be registered in order to submit that. MATE, with our registration, we work a little bit differently. We don't open registration until Daniel sets his date and his venue. However, when you're applying, reach out to me, reach out to Daniel, and we can provide you with a team number so you can work through that application and get supported. And I have to thank Ashley and the state of Michigan. This is just an amazing resource to be able to have access to these funds to support you all and to support team development. And we're just glad to be a part of it. And so take the plunge, if you will. Let me see if I can get all my maritime puns in here, but we are #WaterGame and we welcome you all to compete. Thanks, Ashley.
Yeah, thank you. And just to reiterate what Jill had said, if you don't have your registered team number, just work with your program providers to get even a temporary number, and they'll verify it. So we'll be able to verify that even if it is temporary. Don't think you need to be registered by October 31st. So again, and if there's any other questions that come up, feel free to reach out to your program providers. If they can't answer your question, they're always good about looping me in. Or if you want to reach out to me first, that's totally up to you. Anything Nexus related, I can totally help you. Maybe program related, I can't do that as much as your program providers because they're they know what they're talking about when it comes to that. So, but either way, reach out to either them or myself and we can always find the answers for you. Any other questions before we wrap up today? All right, well, I'm sorry about the technical difficulties. I'm sorry we went a little bit over, but I will have this posted today and the step-by-step instructions so that districts can start to fill out their applications. And I'm excited that we'll have some answers sooner rather than later by the end of the year.
And Ashley, did you say that all of our contact information was going to be included in the slideshow that you
Yeah.
sent out?
Yep. And so let me see. One second here.
Would it be helpful if we all dropped it, each of ours in the chat for you?
Yeah,
to-
you can do that as well. I have this
Okay.
here for questions. I have everybody's email. Jill, I think I need to add your new counterpart on here. So I will get that updated. And then here, these are direct links to the websites of each person. But if you feel free to go ahead and drop in your contact information if you would like to, that's totally fine. And then also, I didn't go over because got a little behind, but we are also offering sketches again this year. So for every 10 hours, you get one sketch, up to 40. Any other questions? No? All right, well, I thank you all for coming and meeting with me today. Feel free to email me with any questions. I'm here to answer anything that you may have. And if there's nothing else, I will give you back the rest of your day.
Thank you. Everybody have a great day.
Yeah, thank you all.
Bye, thank
Thanks.
you.
Bye.
Part of it. Take care. Bye-bye.